We're off. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, here joined with my friend and co host Dylan. And the Yankees had about as wild of a win as it gets. I mean, we go into extra innings. You have extra innings, not only just, the 10th, you have the ninth as well. And then you kind of look at just the structure of this game. I'm not saying that the New York Yankees, they needed this win necessarily, that this win was a season defining win of any sorts. It's a National League team. You're probably not going to care about any tiebreakers of an NL team, considering that they don't have any effect on your postseason chances. But a chance to go 6-1 on a road trip where, let's be honest here, you were expected to go 4-3, maybe 5-2. You would have taken 5-2 on the surface. The Yankees go 6-1. They take both series. You can't complain about this road trip for the Yankees. And the big thing for me, at least, Aaron Judge woke up. I was not concerned about him, but him waking up is obviously great. I feel like just overall, Rodon wasn't great, but he wasn't awful. Like, he was good. He wasn't bad. And I think that's kind of another big win here. Just not having to worry about, or not having to sit here and tell you guys about how, you should be okay because they won 5 of the 2 and that this series didn't matter that much or whatever. Man, I'm really happy that we can sit here and talk about a win. That we can talk about a win. We can talk about a win and not some BS about how it's okay to lose these kinds of games. It doesn't matter. This, and that. It feels good to talk about wins. So, Dylan, the Yankees win their 6th game of the season. They bounce back after an ugly loss yesterday. We'll take it game by game because this is a series recap, but kind of initial thoughts, how you feeling? And how's it going, Dylan?
Right. So, you mentioned it's a series recap, not just a game recap. Taking 2 out of 3 against a team that was in the World Series last year and then only got better in the offseason, I'll take that 100%. I think everyone should take that as well. The 7-0 loss last night against Zach Gallen sucked. It was a horrible loss, but it's Zach Gallen. I'm not going to get too upset that the offense was shut down against a Cy Young candidate. It happens. And their first loss was bound to happen at some point. They can only win so many games all season. It's a long season. But 6-1 heading back to the Bronx for Friday, I'm stoked. I think this is really the most encouraging start I've seen quite some time from a lot of Yankees teams. And there's been some good Yankees teams in the past few years, but I don't remember them getting off to this good of a start right away like that in any of those years, really. The big thing I want to talk about today for this specific game, since this is the one that's fresh on everyone's mind, Aaron Judge finally woke up. He had the home run earlier and then the big RBI double in extra innings that, pushed their lead to 6-4, which ended up being a big one because they ended up winning by 1. So big game for Judge. Yes, you're still a little concerned about the strikeouts maybe, but I think a game like this is something he really needed, and I really think this can get him going in the right spot, heading back to the Bronx. Juan Soto was 0 for 5 today, but he's hitting still 345 on the year, so I'm not going to freak out that Juan Soto was 0 for 5 today, and I believe he was hitless yesterday as well. So I'm not going to freak out about those. It happens. He was not going to hit for 500 forever, so it happens. Interesting development, though, is that Stanton did not play in this game. They had Trent Grisham play, and they didn't even pinch hit him at any point in the game. They had John Birdie pinch hit in the 9th inning. I don't know exactly why. I'm not complaining. We won the game. I'm not going to sit here and complain. I know Stanton has not been good. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's still good. We know he's kind of on the back end of his career. It's kind of disappointing to see. He had a rough game against Arizona last night when Gallen pitched. That was just a brutal game. That was flashbacks to last year type game, which is not what I wanted to see. After he looked all right in Houston, he didn't look amazing in Houston, but he looked better, and then he kind of slipped back. I don't know what happened there. Maybe this off day that he got today is something he needed. Maybe it was something Aaron Boone also felt that he really needed to kind of just reset his mind, get him back to the Bronx and make him feel good, coming back. Hopefully that was the mindset, but we'll have to see about that. On the pitching front, Carlos Rodon today wasn't great again. I'm not gonna sit here and act like he was great. He wasn't. He gave up the 2 home runs. He walked 2 batters. He only struck out 3 guys, but he got through the 5 and the 3rd innings with only giving up 2 runs. So I'm not gonna complain too much about it. But it was another slog of an outing for him. If we remember his first one in Houston, same situation basically, pretty much almost identical to that first start. Minus the 2 home runs, of course, but almost the same. He got through, I believe, 4 and a third against Houston or 4 2/3, something like that. And the same situation, he struggled with walks a little bit, didn't strike out a lot of guys, gave up a decent amount of hits, but only gave up 1 run in that start. His ERA in the year is 2.79. it's encouraging, but I still feel like I want to see more, considering we're paying this guy a lot of money and we paid him to be like, the guy that he was back in, San Francisco and Chicago. So I'm really hoping that he can kind of just keep building off these like decent starts and put in some really good starts down the road as the season continues to progress. But someone I really want to touch on, and I apologize for my dog barking in the background, by the way. I apologize for that in advance. But anyways, I want to talk about Ian Hamilton. This man has been nails these first 7 games of the season, and today he was outstanding. 2 1/3 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. I saw a thing. He faced 7 batters, got 8 outs. I I can't be any more happy with what he's been doing so far. I'm really glad he's back and he's healthy right now. Because as we all know, he missed a lot of time last season. I'm glad to see him back. Now, I want to talk about Clay Holmes right now because a lot of people were going off on this man on Twitter, and I really don't know why. That blown save that he had in the extra innings is not his fault. It was not. He got exactly what you wanted out of him. He got the soft ground balls. He got the supposed to be easy outs for his fielders to make. It's not his fault that Anthony Volpe made a bad throw and that Rizzo couldn't hold on to the ball when he tried to tag out the runner. That is not Clay Holmes' fault. Clay Holmes gave up 1 hit in an inning and a third. He gave up 1 hit. None of those runs were earned on him. So, I don't know how some people watched that game and came to the conclusion that that was his fault. That was not his fault at all. It really was not. So, I don't know why people are thinking that. People were like saying, "Oh, he's not my closer. He's not good. This that." If you don't want him to be the closer, I can live with that argument, because maybe there is an argument for maybe later in the season that maybe Loizaga should get a bigger role in that situation. I can live with that, but you can't reach that conclusion after this specific game, because this specific game he did what you wanted him to do, and I think he did exactly what I wanted him to do. It's not his fault that this happened. I commend him for his performance today. I thought he had brilliant stuff. Honestly, I did. And I'm not trying
Yeah,
to, go too, not trying to be too, nice about him, because I know he, struggled a little bit in the Houston series. In the 3 games he pitched, they weren't perfect, but I thought today he looked the best he had looked all season so far. I really do
I
think so.
agree.
And maybe he didn't, maybe the strikeout numbers weren't high because he only had 1 strikeout, but he did what you want him to do. That's what you got him in that's what you have him in that situation for. You're in extra innings. You have this runner on second rule now. You want ground ball outs. That's what you want. Yes, I understand there's the whole thing about, teams can just move the runners, up the bases with these ground balls. I get that. But you also don't want, to have a pitcher who gives up a lot of home runs or a lot of fly balls, and then, you lose one guy, and then bam, a home run, game over, because there's a guy on base that you didn't even allow. So it goes both ways. I can see both sides to it, but I personally think that, the people that were going off on Holmes on social media was a little bit much. I don't think they were really in the right to call him out, because I don't think this was his fault at all. I really don't. If there was anyone you wanted to place blame on, you place blame on the defense, because the defense didn't help him out, and the defense has been shaky all year so far. It has. It quite frankly has, and I really hope it improves, because I don't want to see something like that happen again. But, enough about Clay Holmes. We can talk about him more and more as the stream goes on, but I want to move on, of course, to how the game ended. I thought they made some really smart managerial decisions late in this game, noticing that the Diamondbacks had no more bench guys left and that they lost their DH and that the pitcher was on deck and would have been having to come up in that big situation with the bases loaded. I'm really happy that Boone realized that and said, no, we're not letting Moreno hit and possibly hit one into the gap and win them the game and we lose. No, make the pitcher do something. If the pitcher beats you, fine. It happens. I'm not going to, if the pitcher beats you, it is what it is. That's what you took that risk. So it would have been, it is what it is. But that's not what happened. Ferguson made him look foolish up there, struck him out pretty easily. We get the win. We're 6-1, heading back home on that. I'm pumped. I'm stoked about it. And I know I didn't even mention the first win of the series, but the first win was a lot smoother of a win, so there wasn't much to talk about in that game. I think they won like 5-2. That 7th inning had gotten a little sketch, I remember, because Luke Weaver was in there, had the bases low, nobody out, some hard contact, but they didn't do much with that. Ended up winning the game pretty easily, so I thought they did everything good this series. Obviously, the Gallen game, you kind of want to just forget about that one. It's 7-0 loss, but against a Cy Young candidate, you can only do so much about that. Those games are going to happen to every single team in Major League Baseball. So I'm not going to harp on that one at all. I think what I'm going to look at is that they just won another series against a very good team and that they're heading home red hot right now. That's what I'm going to focus on. I think everyone should focus on that. And I'm done rambling now. I wanted to get all that stuff off my chest. I want to pass it to Ryan, though, let his thoughts out, and then we can pass it on to the viewers.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to also point out that Clay Holmes did nothing wrong in today's game. He kept the ball on the ground. The game-tying play was a ground ball chopper from Corbin Carroll. Outside of, I mean, you could say, well, why doesn't he strike out Corbin Carroll? Well, it's not as easy as just striking out Corbin Carroll, number one. And number two, you want, yeah, as I mentioned, you want him to get weak contact. He did exactly what you want him to do. So there's that. And I just want to point out, yeah, Clay Holmes is my closer, right? Like Clay Holmes he's done a great job closing this year. Like I feel like I know obviously the Houston series, some shaky games in there, but I feel like for the most part, he's gotten the job done. He's shown up when he's need to show up. He's made some big pitches when he's needs to make some big pitches. So yeah, that's just where I'm at right now with Clay Holmes. And of course, you already see them in my hand. The Yankees just won another series.
The glasses are back.
We're talking about series. The glass has got to come on.
Promise y'all he's not faded, guys. I promise.
Yeah, I just eyes, Personally, I think the season. Yeah, I love, dude. 162-0. I really thought we had a chance this year. I really thought we had a chance at 162-0. Unfortunately, the baseball gods colluded against us. They made Zach Gallen's pitches nastier. Umpires made some bad calls. It is what it is, right? There's nothing the Yankees, my glorious ball club, can do about it. I love this. Judge AAA. That tweet was crazy, man. Move Volpe down to 7 again. Does a lot better there and don't want to change what's good. I don't really think it matters. I think he just had a couple bad games after literally he had 5 consecutive hits. He had like
one of 5 today, and he's still hitting 409 on the season. So
yeah, like I'll live with it. I'm pretty good.
Soto also went 0 for 5. Do we need to move Soto down too?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about where we're at with the line. I'm okay with what's going on.
But I can jokes aside, I can understand why if people want to move him down the lineup for depth purposes. I kind of get that, but I think where he's been at for most of the start of the season, aside from today, obviously today was a little bit of an outlier because Stanton didn't play, so he moved up. But I think where he's been when the regular lineup is out there, I think that's been fine. And I think it's been working. He's been producing. So, you don't want to look at this one too much. Stanton didn't play, and Stanton usually is going to play most days. So you're not going to really look at this one and look at where he hit in the lineup and go, okay, I don't want him hitting there again because he's not going to hit there very often. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I don't think, I think as long as, I think Aaron Boone's done a good job at the lineups. Like, that's really where I'm at with it. My guy, Feliz, Yankees get a series win. I mean, life is good right now. Life is pretty damn good right now. We're the best. Charles Barkley, there is no one in the American League East with a better record than the New York Yankees. So, yes, we are the best. And we did it on arguably the toughest way to start your season. I'm not saying the Jays have a tough start. They had the Rays at the Trop. That's always a nightmare. Although the Rays are not as good in my opinion as the Diamondbacks or the Astros, and they play the Astros. So that's obviously not great for them. But like the Rays, like they get the Blue Jays and the Rangers. I would also say it's a little bit of a notch down against who we had to face. And then of course you have, the Red Sox hit the Mariners in Oakland. Gross. The Orioles get the Angels and the Royals. Gross, man. Like we had the toughest start to our year. We're going to have a tougher start to our year than anybody else. So, right now we have a brutal schedule to open the year. In the second half, it gets a lot lighter, but the tough part is that you don't have your ace right now. And you also don't have Jason Dominguez. Those are two players that I think make your team a lot better. We'll talk about kind of where certain guys are at in terms of like health, because there was a couple of injury updates on like Peraza and even LeMahieu to an extent, and some stuff about Cole that we found out during the series about like him being able to throw soon. So we'll definitely dabble on that a little bit. What a win. Yeah, I think this was an electric win. Like it was not a fun win to endure, but at the end of the day, because we won, it's electric. Holmes sucks. I think your opinion kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie, Edward. You want him to walk people? Yeah, I can't believe I still got this reply where it's like they should have walked Corbin Carroll. If Corbin Carroll gets walked with a runner on third,
and then the ball's in the gap, and then what? We win?
Not even a ball in the gap. Right, like a single, right? Like if Carroll steals second, a single's winning the game. If Carroll steals second and a ball gets past somebody, a ball gets past Wells, how do you know that doesn't win the game? How do you know that doesn't, you know what I mean? So I think Aaron Boone did everything right managerially today.
Let's not push over the Diamondbacks 1-5 too. They got some hitters,
right? Like we're saying this because Suarez got out, but Suarez is not a pushover. You can't just assume, oh yeah, Suarez is going to be out. Like Suarez is a good major league baseball player.
1-5 today was Marte, Carroll, Gurriel, Walker, Suarez. That's a good 1-5.
Yeah,
that's a good 1-5.
Now, and I mean, what would have made more sense is if you were to say, all right, they should have like I mean, I don't even know. I think they did everything perfect. I don't think
If
there's
we want to
anything I
talk
would
about
have done.
walks, what I wanted to touch on was I'm surprised that they didn't walk Aaron Judge in the 10th inning.
Yeah, that was. If
I'm
you want, yeah, if
surprised
you
they
want to
didn't
talk
do
about
it.
walks,
I had
yeah, that
tweeted
was a bad
as he
one.
had walked up to the plate. I tweeted this. I said, very surprised that they're not walking Judge here. The next pitch, he roped one into the gap and we scored another run and ended up being the difference. I'm very surprised they didn't do that. If you want to talk about walks, we can talk about that one because I think that's
Yeah,
something
that one was brutal.
I think that's something that, and the broadcast barely mentioned this, and I don't know why, but I really think that shocked me that they didn't walk him. I thought they should have walked him right there. I really do. If I was a D-backs fan, I'd be pretty upset that they didn't walk him, honestly.
It was a bad decision.
But yeah, that's what I thought about that. But in terms of tying it back to the Carroll thing, like you're not walking Carroll in that situation. I'm perfectly okay with the fact that they didn't walk him. You got exactly what you wanted him to do. You got him to ground ball. It's just he's just really fast, and it was a very soft ground ball. There's only so much you could do. If anything, I'm glad that Volpe didn't overthrow it. Trying to throw it first on that play. I'm glad that didn't happen because that ball got into the camera well or something like that, and he's at third base all of a sudden. Then yeah, I'd freak out a little bit, but it happens. I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset about that. I'm glad they didn't walk Carroll. I'm actually very glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, it's just I don't even know.
I think honestly, I think some people wanted to look for a reason to complain about Holmes. I really do. I think some people wanted to complain about Holmes because
No,
I don't
I agree.
And I don't want to be mean because I know
I do.
everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Brian knows I'm the level-headed guy here, but at the end of the day, like I think a lot of the stuff that was being said about Holmes online and stuff was very unwarranted. I don't think people were actually watching that game and really coming down to the right conclusion. I think they were just too focused on who was on the mound when it happened, as opposed to whose fault was it actually. So,
yeah, it's pretty nutty that it just Clay Holmes was fun. Like Clay Holmes didn't do a bad job.
Clay Holmes is fine.
Clay Holmes has been one of the best relievers in baseball since coming over to the Yankees. I don't even want to fucking hear it about Clay Holmes. I really don't. Like I get so frustrated with the conversation because it's like, what do you like? What do you people want? You know what I mean? You want is Josh Hader walking through that door? No, you weren't going to pay Josh Hader.
We were spoiled with Mariano Rivera for nearly 20 years,
it's
and now that we don't have a guy like that, they expect the best. And of course, you want your closer to be very good. Yeah, of course, I'm with you on that 100%. But we can't expect them to be perfect every single time.
Yeah,
they're not.
Personally, I think the conversation is oftentimes overblown. Is he perfect? No. Does he have bad games? Absolutely. But that's every reliever. And then kind of
Josh Hader gave up a go-ahead hit to Soto just a couple days ago.
A go-ahead home run to the Blue Jays yesterday.
David Schneider.
Emmanuel Clase had an unbelievable stretch of just blowing saves last year. I don't see it. I don't see why people...
Even the best guys are going to have their moments.
Right. Unless you're like 2023 Edwin Diaz, you are fallible.
Or
you
Felix Bautista.
Right. I mean, even Felix Bautista, you think of that game where Judge takes him yard.
Or even the Grand Slam to Tucker.
Right. It happens. These kinds of things happen. Yes, you're going to fail in big spots when you only pitch in big spots. It's like saying, man, why does this guy ever strike out with runners in scoring position? If all of his at-bats are in runners in scoring position, yeah, he's going to come up short. He's going to fail in those moments. If you let somebody end up in those situations, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's oftentimes very overblown. Ian Hamilton for closer. I like Ian Hamilton and the role he exactly has. His role is perfect. I don't want to touch anything.
I agree too, because Hamilton can give you length. He can give you length. It's not like he's a one-inning pitcher. If he was a one-inning guy, then maybe I can entertain this conversation. But because he can give you multiple innings, I love the role he's in. He can give you multiple innings and is consistent in those. He pitched nearly 3 innings today and didn't give up a run. And he did give up a hit at that. And then he struck out 4 guys. I mean, case in point. Sure, maybe now he might not be available tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. I'm tripping. They play Friday. But maybe he will pitch Friday, actually. Now I'm thinking about it because they have an off day. Besides, I forgot about that, so that's on me. But besides the point, in a hypothetical situation, if they were playing tomorrow, maybe he wouldn't be available for that game. Sure, I can understand why maybe some people want to see Hamilton more, but I think him pitching multiple innings is a huge luxury to have if he's going to have that kind of stuff. So It's one or the other, and I personally am taking the fact that he can pitch multiple innings over
I
one inning.
wholeheartedly agree. I
Over
think it's
one inning for a 2-day span and then sitting. I will gladly take multiple innings of shutting down hitters in a situation you needed to too, because we got to remember this game was tied when he came into the game. So,
and if you look at the bullpen, they didn't have any of their long relief guys. There was no, you couldn't go to Luke Weaver. You couldn't say, all right, Luke Weaver, eat 3 innings today. Because
they probably wanted to stay away from Birdie.
Right. They did probably want to use Birdie. He's the guy who has a very extensive injury history. You want to avoid throwing him out there. It just feels like sometimes people complain just to complain. And I'm not saying this to say there is never a valid reason to get mad at the Yankees, that there's never a valid reason to say, okay, why are we doing this, guys? But that right now is not a valid reason to start going off on Clay Holmes. Today was not the reason to go off on Clay Holmes. There will be games where he pitches poorly, and it just feels like people are, it's kind of like confirmation bias. They think he's bad, or they think they know he's bad, and until he can do a lot of things to prove he isn't, but the second that he does something that would suggest he isn't good, that is what blows the floodgates open. There is not a peep about Clay Holmes when he struck out. Like, look at the Suarez at bat, for example. That was a huge strikeout. Let's say Clay Holmes walks Eugenio Suarez. You have the strikeout of Jace Peterson. Then you have the hit from Barbosa. And now it's 1 out, 2-run score most likely, because it's a runner. 2 runs. Let's say 1 or 2 run score. Let's say 1 run scores even. It's bases loaded, 1 out, a 1-run game. And you can't just walk Gabriel Moreno with a lefty on the mound. And if you look at Moreno's season last year, look, was he an elite hitter? No, but he's not, he's not a bum. He's an above average major league hitter. And he's right-handed. That's inevitable.
He's also young too, so he's only going to get better over time.
Right. You imagine that his offensive, and he got better throughout the year last year. I just want to make sure
he turned it up in the playoffs too.
And against lefties last year, he had a 139 WRC plus and hit 352. So that one strikeout changed the entire outlook of the game. And no one's going to highlight that one specific moment where Clay Holmes got a big out in a big way and changed the tide of the game, because that wouldn't fit a narrative. That wouldn't fit a narrative that Clay Holmes is good. There is every statistic out there to prove to you that he is within either that 15-ish or even back-end top 10 range for relievers. That's where every number says he is. Until a sample size of data over a season suggests he is not that caliber of reliever, he is that caliber of reliever. Until I get data to prove it otherwise, it's never information or data. It's I feel like, I believe, I think it is, it looks like, it feels like, I feel. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you think. I care what the numbers tell me. That's how I feel. So, yeah. Rodon looked better than his last start. Cody pointed out his location was better. The quality of contact was much worse despite minimal strikeouts. I didn't think he looked bad today, but I do want to see some more swings and misses. That's really it. That's really it.
I want to see more swings and misses and less home runs given up.
Right. It's just I need that outing where he just goes 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, no home runs. That what I need that one. And I feel like the Marlins series is the perfect opportunity to get it, because
a team that's 0-7 right now.
They kind of fucking stink. Excuse my language, but they suck. This is an opportunity to do that. And I think this is the opportunity they will have to do that. Now, personally, I think the New York Yankees are in a situation where they feel good about Rodon's stuff and health. The results have certainly been good. He's been getting out of situations he wouldn't have gotten out of in years past. Those are all positives, but I just want to see it happen. I just want to see it be a little more sustainable. So, yeah. I simply want Rodon to do better with 2 strikes. And yeah, I would like him to just put guys away a little more effectively. Sometimes it feels like he's nibbling, he's getting a little too selective, and then it results in a walk or a hit or a predictable fastball that leaks over the plate. When you know a fastball is coming, you can sit on it. So that's kind of where I'm at on that front as well. Judge the Beast, El Capitan, yes, sir. I forgot about this game. Emmanuel Clase blew a lead to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Oh my God, yep.
To Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
2022.
Right, like I that's just where I'm at. And it's like we can also assume that he's a mid reliever, won't be good in the closing role. Yeah, exactly. I agree. If we just highlight every time a player fails, yeah, they suck. It's like watching a highlight reel for a player. It's like if you're scouting a quarterback, and this is some NFL draft lingo, if you're scouting like JJ McCarthy and you're just watching his highlights, you're not scouting him. You're just watching highlights. You know
You're
what I mean?
watching the good portions.
Right. It's like you're not watching film. You don't learn anything about a player by finding out that they look good when they play good. Like did you see that segment on MLB Network that he tweeted out about how Harper is better than Judge when Harper played?
I heard about that.
And it's like, yeah, when Bryce Harper is good, Bryce Harper is very good. Like, yeah, if you took away when Bryce Harper was bad, his numbers are going to look better than Aaron Judge's. No, duh, right? Like, that doesn't really make much sense to me. So, I mean, I just think a lot of people try to pick and choose, and picking and choosing the data. When we start selecting when we're going to look at information, what periods of games are relevant or not, a lot of times people use that to again, just like be disingenuous. That's really it. It makes them disingenuous. So, yeah, that's really where I'm at. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Ryan to the Miami rapper mode. Love it, dude. I love the shades. They're the victory shades. We're keeping them. Last time we did this, we won a series after. That was this series, of course. So I'm gonna keep this rolling. Hopefully I don't have to go too long without wearing them. Right? Like ideally, we don't have like August where I gotta where like it's a whole month without a series.
So are they just the victory glasses now? Is that what we're?
Yeah, I wouldn't say game wins because like I'm never gonna put this on if we like win a getaway game and avoid getting swept. That's not happening. If they want a playoff series, if they want a series, like just winning a series, I think that's the healthy way to
so
look
the
at this.
series win glasses.
Right. Now, I will also say this. They come on, like let's say it's game 2 out of 3 and they win game 2. That's when they come on. They're not coming on. Like the Astros one I held out because I kind of knew they would sweep in the back of my head. Like in the game 4, I was like, they're sweeping today. They're going for the sweep today. They're JP France. He don't got it like that. He does not have it like that. He does not like Clark Schmidt has it like that. JP France does not. It is a great point here. Last season, they'd be leaving this road trip 1-6. This team is different, and I love it. I really like that they started doing damage at the end there. Dylan, it's kind of felt like they got away from just punishing a pitcher on a pitch, right? Like they get a fastball to the plate.
Like the first 9 innings of this game, they had 2 runs. They weren't really producing much offense because I believe the only source of offense actually was the Judge home run. And then first pitch of extra innings, Verdugo hits one to the moon. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're actually getting going. And then, the game got tied. So then I was like, oh, they're not going to do much because the offense has been quiet today. No, they kicked it right back up. They got a little lucky with that balk, sure, but they still got, it was a good piece of hitting from Torres to get on base right before that. And then, of course, Soto didn't do much, unfortunately. He had an off night, it happens, but then Judge came through yet again. It was one of those games where, you're thankful you have 2 superstars on your team now with Soto and Judge. You're thankful you have that because, obviously Soto didn't have it today, but Judge did. In the Houston series, Soto had it, Judge did not. Not saying Judge had it this series really either, because this was really the first game all season he really started to get it together. But it's one of those games again, like I just highlighted, where obviously you would love both Soto and Judge to be on it at the same time, but we all know that's not always going to happen. So you want at least one of them to be on it during at least almost every single time, but at least like 95% of the time, right? So that's what we got today. Judge was feeling it today, Soto wasn't, but because of that, we were able to snuff out a win. So I'll take it. A win's a win. What was the thing Rodon said? He was like, I'm not going to complain as long as we win the game. That's how I'm feeling right now.
So. Yeah, I just like I look at it from the perspective of like the Yankees have done a really good job of again just like fighting deep in these games, coming up with some big hits, having really good at bats, wearing pitchers down, and this is a really good point here. Seem to be scared when everyone's clicking on all cylinders, potentially better than the 2022 first half Yankees. If they think about it, I don't think Judge has had one good game, one impactful game. Juan Soto had a really good Houston series, not a great Diamondback series. The rest of the lineup's kind of been in and out. Like one day you'll have a good game from Wells, the other day he's silent. One day you'll have a good game from Rizzo, the next day he's silent. One day you get a home run from Stanton, and he's just awful. Once guys kind of get rolling a little bit, a little consistency, you figure out who your top of the lineup, middle of the lineup, bottom of the lineup guys are, you're going to be rolling. And it doesn't feel like they're sending up straight up bad players anymore. There is nobody who I feel like is outright atrocious at the sport of baseball. You would say Trevino might be not a good hitter, and that's true. He's a pretty bad hitter. But he's such a good defender that like you kind of don't care as long as he's your 9 hitter. There just isn't a flat out terrible player of baseball in the lineup, and that's such a relief because like you think even like 2022, Isaiah like look, Josh Johnson can play defense, so like he got to pick it. He'd hold you down a little bit there, dude. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa stunk. He couldn't play defense and he couldn't hit. He was just bad at being a shortstop. He was a bad shortstop. He was bad at the sport of baseball. It truly felt like you had an atrocious player at the plate when he stepped up. Absolutely, it just did, right? Like you just knew you had a pretty bad baseball player. And now him at third base is a better player because he's a good different third base defender, all that stuff.
I think last year's an even better comparison with this.
Yeah.
Because look at the outfield situation last year. They started like 9 different guys in right field or something like that, or left field, one of the outfield.
Yeah, dude,
spots.
it's crazy. They
had guys, and those 9 different guys weren't good guys, minus like Aaron Judge. It was Franchy Cordero, Jake Bowers, Greg Allen, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Like guys like that were starting in the outfield every day. Like, and some of them, both of them were playing, or 3 of them were playing. Sometimes even all 4 of them were in that lineup. And I know they dealt with a lot of injuries, so I'm not going to act like they didn't. But even roster construction wise, they still had huge holes in those spots, huge. And now they filled them up. You got Juan Soto in the offseason, and you got Alex Verdugo. And of course, maybe you want to see more production out of Verdugo, and I'm not going to sit here and act like my expectations for him are sky high because they're not. But he had a home run today, so I'm happy for that. But besides the point is that it's such a revamped lineup now, and I remember looking at the lineup the other night, and I'm like righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, switch, and the lefty or whatever it was. I didn't have the lineup in front of me, so I'm just going off the top of my head. But my point is, it was balanced. Remember last year, it was like all righties and 1 or 2 lefties. Same thing in 2022, even mostly right-handed hitters who weren't looking for contact, looking to just hit the ball 500 feet, which they ended up striking out a bunch of times and getting nowhere. The Yankees had literally the second lowest batting average out of any team last year, or even the lowest. I don't remember exactly, but I remember it was second or last, and that's because they had nobody they could hit. You're relying on a bunch of guys that just couldn't get it done. For like a 2-month span, our best player was Gleyber Torres, and then the second best player was like what? I don't even know. Like Anthony Volpe? I'm trying to just throw a name out here at this point. Maybe I'm forgetting about somebody, but I'm talking about the lineup specifically here. That team could not produce runs at all last year. And this year, sure, they haven't had that game yet where they scored like 10 runs or 11 runs and just dominated a team offensively. Maybe they haven't had that just yet. But they're showing a lot more patience at the plate. They're making pitchers work. They're finding their pitch. They're waiting for their pitch. These first 7 games, I'm already seeing better offense than they did pretty much all of last year. So it's an encouragement. It's a big encouraging step.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like right now we're talking about like the production. Think of how bad. Just think of how bad the situation. Think how bad they were in these kinds of spots last year. That's really the thing for me.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on what you just said right there because looking at this lineup, of course, a lot of these guys haven't even gotten going yet. Torres is only hitting 214. Judge is hitting 179. Rizzo is hitting 222. He had 2 hits today. So before that, it was like way lower than that. Stanton has obviously not been great. Verdugo's hitting 160. Austin Wells, 214. You haven't even got Grisham's only played 2 games or something like that, but he hasn't even gotten a hit yet in those games. A lot of these guys haven't even gotten going yet. A lot of them haven't, and we're already seeing improved offense, even if they're not exactly, getting doubles left and right, hitting everything out of the park, or getting a bunch of singles. The point is that they're making opposing pitchers work, and you can still win games that way. It's proven because look at that Astros game, for example, the second game of the season when they threw like 3 errors in 1 inning. Making pitchers work, getting them tired, getting even just simple plays, not striking out every time makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. It really does. You know what I mean? Maybe that isn't even the best example, but still, the point is that like even if they're not doing everything you want them to do right now, they're doing things that are just so much better than last year that right now we're just like wait until they get going. Once they get going, it can get dangerous for sure.
For sure. John Bloom says, yo, Ryan Dillon, what up, chat? What's good, John? I hope you're having a good day. Let's go Yankees. What's up, Ryan? Love the Bret Hart glasses. There's a different feel for every department right now. For the Yankees, of course, if they can be consistent with it. I agree. As long as they hold up these kinds of tough performances throughout the season.
I think
Gonna
the
feel very
biggest
good
the
about
biggest
this.
one you want to watch is how this rotation will stand without Cole for the next 2 months. I think that's the big thing you want to watch. We know the offense can click it at some point, or at least hope that they can click it at some point, but I think we know by now that this offense is already a whole lot better. So I'm not as worried about them at the moment. I want to see how this rotation holds up without Cole. This first round of it went pretty all right. Went better than I thought it was going to go, aside from, a couple bad starts from Nestor, but it went all right for what it was worth. They got us through most of what we wanted to do. Maybe we wanted to be a little bit better, but they didn't get shelled, which is the good thing. They haven't, other than Nestor, of course, they haven't really gotten shelled. And even Nestor, as I mentioned that, even after his first innings, he seems to settle down. The only thing you want him to do is just come out of the gate pitching good. That's a big thing. But aside from Nestor alone, looking at the rotation as a whole, like I said, watch how they go for these next 2 months without Cole. Wait until they get Cole back. Obviously, you can keep saying, oh, wait until they get Cole back and the rotation will be so good. Let's see how they do right now. We don't have Cole for 2 months. So let's see how they do right now. If they can hold it down, get us through these innings, and get us some wins, I'd love it. I would love that. Even if they're not the prettiest.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't disagree. I will say this though. One thing that's kind of funny that I just saw in the chat. It's kind of funny. Like it's a little bit ironic if you ask me. We're 7 games in, you complain about production, and then Nestor needs to be replaced.
The contradictory.
Right? Like you can say you think Nestor is the guy who will get replaced. And if you ask me, based on how good Luis Gil's stuff is, I would say you would lean towards Gil over Cortez. But I also understand the innings limit could be a thing that kicks in later down the year. Maybe the Yankees add a starter. I don't know. But what I will say is that if it's 7 games, and I don't think we're complaining about production.
I don't think so either.
Don't think production.
I think we're just commenting on what we can comment on right now through these 7 games.
Complain about last year's production, perhaps.
Yes.
And how last year's production stunk. This year's team is a sharp contrast from this year.
And maybe his point was more so towards like, oh, why are we talking so highly about production 7 games in? Sure, 7 games in, it's not a big sample size. But we also only have 7 games of sample size to work with here. So we're just, giving our takeaways on what we've seen through these first 7 games. Obviously, maybe our opinions change 30 games in, 50 games in, 100 games in. Maybe it changes. But right now, from what I've seen better. I'm seeing better right now. And like you said, we were complaining about last year because last year, oh my God, last year can we just like throw 2023 away? That year just stunk. Can we just throw it away? Like,
yeah, 2023 stunk for sure. But this team's a different team, hopefully, and yeah, it's just kind of where I'm at. I hope that can hold up. I like Judge center field for 2 games and DH him on the 3rd game. Stanton sits. I love that. I absolutely adore that for sure. Also, one more thing I love. The Yankees and the young guys like Waldo and Volpe are thriving in roles that aren't too big for them. This is exactly how the Braves developed Ozzie, Harris, and Riley. Yeah, having young players help you is a great step in the right direction for the organization. They've seemed to do a better job of getting these guys into the right headspace and having the right tools to succeed at the major league level, at least early on. Jason Dominguez is a guy I'm super excited for. I feel like Wells had a couple really good swings today that just didn't go his way. Like he had that rope to first base and he had that shot to right center field that looked like it was going to get out. The way that the camera moved and the way that Kara was moving, I was like, oh my God, did he get this ball? And of course, it kind of dies there. I think Wells is going to have a pretty good series at home. I think Wells will get it going in the next few days. But no, I mean, I feel good about where they are in terms of young guy usage. Again, when Dominguez comes back, I think that'll only improve. And to the point of, because I think I wanted to bring up this before continuing to get into John Bloom's point, because I think that Stanton's an important conversation to have when we're talking about even Dominguez. I don't know who's going to get bumped for Dominguez in the starting lineup, whether that's Verdugo or Stanton, or if Dominguez will get a shot early on. But what I do know, Dylan, is that is a good problem to know that if one of those 2 guys are either hurt or have not done anything for 2.5 months, we have Dominguez to go to. And I also like that the Yankees are aggressive in saying, yeah, Judge is going to play center field every day, and Stanton, you're not starting. Like, he respectfully, even though Verdugo hasn't hit, if you want a guy who isn't hitting, you're going to take Verdugo over Stanton because Verdugo can play the outfield. He can play a little bit of center field today. So I personally think that their willingness to say the worst player in this outfield between Soto, Judge, and Verdugo and Stanton is Stanton. It's clearly him. Until he proves otherwise, it is very much far and away him right now. And so the Yankees' willingness to show that that is the route they're willing to take. You mentioned they pinch hit John Birdie. And you know what? I wouldn't have gone to John Birdie necessarily. I might have gone to Stanton, but I do understand why they did it because of the defensive situation. I think that they were kind of like, all right, we can't put Stanton.
I thought about that too, even watching the game. Like I said, I saw him come up, and I was like, interesting that it's not Stanton because there's a lefty on the mound. But then I gave it more thought, and I was like, yeah, but then, if you where are you going to put Stanton because Judge is the DH? So, do you really want to throw him in the field? No, probably not. So I thought about that. I did.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an interesting observation, and I'm very happy that the Yankees I'm very happy
the Yankees aren't messing around this time. Honestly, it seems like they're not messing around after
I'm just happy
last year.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're not just giving Stanton, they're not just giving Stanton the starts or like at bats, even if because he doesn't deserve them right now. He just doesn't. So yeah, that's really where I'm at. They don't need to have dominant games to score more than the other team. Yeah, I mean, I would like them to dominate for like my mental health. Yeah. Like for the sake of my livelihood, if I would like to make it to like 50 or 60 and have kids and like see my kids graduate from college, I'd prefer if the Yankees stop doing this to me with the 1-run leads. But I will say this, as long as they're winning, don't really care. I'll shit. Would I give up 5 years of my life for a World Series? Yeah. I was going to spend those 5 years miserable we didn't win one. Yeah, give me the ring. 2023 Yankees will be 3-3 or 2-4 right now. I agree. They'd be pretty bad in these games. Would you rather have Hamilton as a closer or high-level reliever for multiple innings before the save? Daryl, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Hamilton in that multi-inning relief role is perfect. He's so effective and efficient. He slices and dices through a lineup, and you can give the ball to your closer. Considering the fact that your starters aren't going to give you a lot early in the year in terms of length because of their pitch counts, you need a guy who can do that. Having Weaver who could do that. I know Cousins didn't particularly pitch great yesterday, but he did get some strikeouts. And the more important thing, he completed 2 innings, and he threw 40 pitches. I think the Yankees can use him as a multi-inning guy. If you have him, Hamilton, Weaver can give you some length. Loaizaga obviously is being used in a multi-inning relief role. I imagine he'll be available Friday because he only tossed 1 inning, and then there's an off day after. I just think I just personally think that Hamilton makes so much sense in this role. He bridges the gap from the bullpen to the rotation to the closer.
And the fact too that he can pitch multiple innings is important because he can give other guys some much needed rest. You know what I mean? Some guys that you could use in other games. And not even just that, but the fact that he is that nasty and can pitch multiple innings, like I mentioned earlier, for those who were here earlier, it's a huge luxury to have. I'm thankful for it, honestly. It's good that we finally have that. I missed him from all those injuries because he was nails last year, but he was always hurt. Right now he's healthy. I'm hoping that this year he remains healthy because right now he's on one. He's on one right now, and I know it's only been a few games, but I don't see why he wouldn't keep this up. I don't see why not because he was doing this last year too. So,
yeah, absolutely. He's looked really damn good. I'm gonna say it. Verdugo arouses me. That's certainly the words that I wouldn't use. But you know what? I wouldn't use those words. But I'm just not everybody. I'm just not everybody. Sup, everybody? What's good, Donnie Clark? Salute Ryan. Salute Dylan. What's good? Hope you're looking jacked as hell. Nobody's talking about it. He does look in pretty good shape. Ryan, what do you have? The Bret Hart glasses, dude? I'm rocking them. They're the victory glasses. This is crazy. This is a crazy comment. This is fucking wild, man. This is crazy. That is crazy. That is wild. That's wild. That's crazy. Mac Jones, that's crazy. That's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say.
I have nothing to
you
say.
Say thank you to this? Do I say thank you? Do I go thank you for this comment?
It's all yours, Ryan. You go.
Do I say there's one for you too. That beard's majestic.
Yeah, but that's not nearly as bad.
No, it isn't. This one's actually genuinely like.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam Schefter.
I would say I wish I don't know. I don't know if I have a good. I don't know if I'm gonna have a good comment.
That's all yours, Ryan. That's all yours.
I'm gonna. Someone gets upset if I say something, so I'm just gonna avoid saying anything to this one. I would like to thank my parents for great genetics. I guess I don't really know, except for the height department. They really, dude. If I was 6'2", we wouldn't be talking about Fireside Yankees. Ryan Garcia just on the podcast. It would be Ryan. Tell us how you're doing in AA right now, my man. Ryan, tell us how you're doing in AAA right now, my man. So, but I guess my lip genetics are pretty good. I can't. I don't even. I don't even know what to say to this, man. I really don't. I don't got words.
Nothing to say. It's all yours.
We have fellow member. I just voice cracked. Fellow member of Empire Sports Media and Fireside Giants. Well, I'm not part of Fireside. Not that I'm not part of Fireside Giants, but I'm not like don't do all the podcasts there. Allie, who does really good work with the cover photos. Have you seen like those comic ones with like the judge? Mm-hmm. I think she's doing Soto next, unless she has already done one.
She's done really good with those.
She's Jalen Brunson's one too. Fucking love Jalen Brunson. What's good, Allie? But yes, this is, and I'm sorry, Patrick, that this is what you just tuned into. That portion of the live stream. I still don't know what to say, man. I really don't got words. I don't have words.
It's yours. It's yours.
Yeah, I am doing Soto. That's great. I love this. I love this. Soto. I would love. So the Judge one was epic. I would love like the Soto one. I know is going to be arguably even better. I mean, I'm biased because I'm Dominican. So, yeah. This is also a couple of interesting questions. I don't know if you saw this article from The Athletic talking about the Marlins being potentially sellers earlier than people think. Chances of the Yankees getting Luzardo over Arias from the Marlins. Could Arias slide in at third? Could Luzardo push Nestor to the pen? I don't think that Arias is going to be a Yankee.
I don't think so either.
He's not a third baseman, really. He's kind of a third. He's technically played there, but he hasn't played in over a year. Kind of don't want to rush him there. He's not going to play first for this team. We'll kind of wait and see. Like if Glaber doesn't play well all year, you're going to have that conversation. If Rizzo gets hurt, doesn't play well this year, going to have that conversation. But Dylan, how do I say this? Jesus Luzardo, come be special. Come be special. Come be special.
Matt Blake could turn him into something very good. I will say that. I haven't been as high on Luzardo only because he hasn't been so good the first couple seasons of his career, but he is young and he does have promise. I know he's got some stuff in the vault that could really be useful, for good teams, but I'm iffy on it. But who knows? Maybe if you bring him over here, Matt Blake can turn him into a gem because he seems to turn anybody into a gem at this point. So, who knows? Maybe I can entertain it at the right price, of course.
Yeah, I don't view him as like this must get. Like if you ask me who the Yankees should trade for, give me Freddie.
Talking about trades like 7 games early, you're gonna get people going off on us again.
I just want to throw this out there. And if people want to go off of me, they can go off of me. If the Yankees get Freddie Peralta, we are not just winning the World Series. We are going how many of our losses we have on that day. We are not losing another game. If we're let's say 70 and 45, which would be really good, obviously. We are going. I'm just doing fuck it. I'm getting a calculator. I can't do the math in my head. 117 and 45. We are breaking the wins record. Freddie Peralta. Come be special. Come be special. I'm tweeting this. I don't even give a. I don't come. I'm just out of nowhere.
So now you're gonna push the Freddie Peralta to the Yankees stuff all season long, aren't you?
Oh, I mean, I'm not the one who started this. I am not the one who started this.
No, but you're gonna
push
it.
My boy Max is at Greenfield. I'm gonna put. Whenever someone starts with, I take it the extra mile. You give me an inch, I go a mile. Yeah, that's really where I'm at here. But yeah, Luzardo or Peralta specifically, come be special. Ryan, who said Judge to go to AAA? I'm laughing. If you saw that tweet, dude, that tweet was
that tweet was I can't believe that was a real tweet. I honestly thought it was a joke, but I think it was a real tweet. I think it was for real. And I was like, this can't be serious, right?
Dude, it's crazy. It's unbelievable.
The fact that there was conversation of sending down Aaron Judge to AAA. Aaron Judge to AAA.
Yeah, I just
I can't, it's so like ridiculous. I can't even comment on it because it's like seriously, AAA.
Yeah, man.
AAA?
I can't believe some people got to be dealt with, man. Some people just got to be dealt with. Like, it's just crazy, man. They're just
Talk
some
about
people just can't have
overreacting to
Twitter.
the max right there with the.
And look, should I have Twitter? Maybe not. I should maybe not be allowed to have Twitter, but I know they shouldn't be. I know those people shouldn't be as well. So Juan Soto makes me feel things. For the sake of not having another conversation similar to the one we just had about my lips, I will not comment on what Juan Soto makes me feel. But yes, he also makes me feel things. He's changed. And also, yes, 6'2" Ryan Garcia is Dua Lipa's boyfriend. Dua Lipa, I mean, the issue is more the timing has never been right between me and Dua. I'm not really on the market, so I can't. Me and Dua Lipa, we haven't. The timing's never been great. When she got broken up with, or she had her breakup, I wasn't really available. It's a timing thing. I'm sure that there was a point in time where
Tell her to search the free agent market instead of trying to negotiate for trades.
It's like when Harper hit free agency. He might have wanted the Yankees. The Yankees might have wanted him, but we just traded for Stanton. You know what I mean? The money didn't add up. You know what I'm saying? Except what I will say is that, just like Harper's probably happier in Philly than he would have been in the Yankees. Just looking at how happy he is to be a Philly, I'm happy. Like, Dua Lipa is my New York. You know what I mean? It seemed like a great idea, but it didn't happen. And I'm happy it didn't happen. I hope she has plenty of success finding her next partner. Victor Shades out there. We have ourselves in the chat. We have ourselves in the chat, guys. We have Fireside Yankees. Hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe and comment. Turn on the notification bell. And also, I know we didn't hit today, but we did hit yesterday on our first day of the ladder challenge for Fireside Bets. So you guys should also check out Fireside Bets because we've got it cooking over there. We're getting a little hot. We're on a little bit of a bender. So we're doing some NBA stuff. So make sure you guys check out Fireside Bets, check out Fireside Yankees. And we also have Fireside Giants here. We have the whole Fireside crew right now. We have the shades going. I mean, Dylan, life feels good right now. Like, look, I'm not gonna be one of those people.
I don't get any sunglasses near me. I can't join in.
It's all good. But like, look, we may not win the World's. We may not, like, you can't win the World Series in April. I understand that. But when you have a 6-1 road trip, you're not going to have many 6-1 road trips, right? You're just not going to have many 6-1 road trips. I'm going to bask in this. No, I feel good, man. Have you felt this good about the Yankees since like 2022, man? Really? Like, have you felt this good about? You know what I'm saying?
I don't even remember feeling this good through the first 7 games of 2022. I know that first half was amazing, but the first 7 games in particular I'm referring to here, because if we remember, the first 7 games of 2022 or the first 10 games, something like that, wasn't the best. They weren't terrible, but they weren't on that, what was it, like 52-18 pace at that time. Like, they weren't on that until, of course, they kicked it into high gear after that. But my point is, the first 7 games this year already, we've already, me and Ryan were discussing this prior to going live. They've had like 4 nail biting October feeling wins already this year, and it's been 7 games. Like, I don't know what it is, but this team fights, man. This team fights, and I love it. I know it's only been 7 games, but doing this in the first 7 games is a great sign. It's a great sign.
Yeah. To quote Aaron Judge was asked who started the barking in the dugout, and he said, "I can't tell. There are just so many dogs in here. Woo, woo, woo. We just got dogs on this team, man. Woo, woo, woo. Just dogs everywhere. Verdugo, dog. Soto, dog. Torres, dog. Judge, dog. Cole, dog. Bullpen full of the bullpen is the MVP.
The ham dog too. Don't forget about the ham dog.
The ham dog goes crazy. We got the weave dog. We got so many. There are dogs up and down this roster, and that's really the coolest thing right now. Also, Mac Jones doubled down on this one. You got to. I'm sorry, Dylan. You have to be subjected to this one. I want to curl up into a little ball and live in Dylan's belly button. I have a poster of Dylan in my room. Dylan's my goat, and the reason I am here.
Hey, man, I'm a Giants fan. I'm not supposed to like Mac Jones.
Hey, man, I hate Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones because he tried to throw that game away against the Giants. Like, he really did try to lose that game.
You know what, though? This was out of pocket, but I still think the one about yours was worse.
Nah, it's still correct. Look. You know what we gotta do? I gotta get I'm gonna take a picture of like your profile picture. I'm gonna take the picture and like the "You Are My Sunshine" that video.
Oh my god,
dude, that video. That video, man,
turned me into a meme.
Oh yeah. Fireside Papa, Fireside Daddy, Fireside Dua Lipa. We got everything going. We got every fireside on the damn planet. Fireside Fantasy, TBA, TBD. Well, not TBD. TBA. There we go. It's to be announced. That's in the books. Don't worry, guys. We got you guys. We're expanding. We're not shrinking. We're expanding. You know what I mean? Instead of savages in the box, it's the pit bulls in the box, dude. They're dogs out there. They just eat. The dogs eat. The dogs eat, man. They eat out there. The dogs are eating. And I just love that we rolled into Houston and just slapped them up. I love that we rolled into Arizona and took 2 out of 3. We wouldn't say we necessarily slapped them up. We got blown out in that second game. First, I'm pretty sure we didn't even win the run differential battle. Pretty sure we actually went -1 differential in that series. But I don't even give a shit. We won the series. I don't care. But man, I want to beat up the Blue Jays. Get me around that home opener. Just walk in, man. They're going to be playing 2 games today and tomorrow. So 1 today, 1 tomorrow. That bullpen better be taxed up. Houston, can you give me one more? Can you give me one more? Can you give me one more?
Speaking of Houston, how about that? They get their first win on a no-hitter. Like
wild.
And out of all pitchers, Ronald Blanco. Like, who would have thought that?
Dude, it's cool for him because it's like he just had a kid too. Like it's sick for him.
It's fantastic for him, honestly.
Yo, that's crazy. Like, could never be me. That could never be me. That would never be. That would actually. I mean, if I was hitting, yes, we would get no hit. But like, you know what I'm saying. That would never be my ball club.
Remember in 2021 when there was like 6 no-hitters through the first like month and a half?
Dude, do you remember when Corey Kluber threw a no-hitter and then never was the same again for the rest of his career?
And he was never the same because then he got hurt like a couple weeks later.
He was okay with the Rays that one year, and then he pitched for the Red Sox, and he might have been the worst pitcher of all time. Like that might have been.
You know what though? He had a great career though, so.
Oh my gosh, you don't even know how good Corey Kluber is. I was joking. You don't even know how good Corey Kluber was. That video is so funny. Being a part of the Let's Go Yankees chant in Houston was chills. Dude, we had a Volpe chant, a Let's Go Yankees chant in Arizona. We had Let's Go Yankees chants in Houston. That ballpark got loud when we scored. When we had that game-clinching play from Verdugo to end that game. Not when they scored. Not when they did shit. We run that ballpark. We run every ballpark. Every ballpark, Yankee fans run.
You want to know? I'll even back up on that because I was at the Knicks game last night, and there was a lot of Knicks fans there in Miami. There was a lot of them.
I mean, respectfully, no one like it's New York and then everybody else. It's not LA and everybody else. It's not Texas and anybody else. It's not Boston and anybody else. Boston? What? No. It's New York. Well, the Yankees specifically. That. New York, that's only takeover ballparks like that. No disrespect to them. But, you're not going to Houston and getting a Nets go Mets chant. That shit ain't happening. Would it be funny? Yes. Would I root for that? Absolutely. That would be hilarious. But that's not happening. Thoughts on Ohtani's crippling gambling addiction? 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. That's a joke. Don't follow that. Bet responsibly. In Fireside Bets, we don't encourage, throwing $100 on an unlikely parlay. Bet safe, folks. Every away park is Yankee Stadium and compass direction. Yes, sir. Chase Field, Yankee Stadium West. That's just Yankee Stadium West. I mean, we run that ballpark.
I called the Heat Arena MSG South, so.
It is. All these places they're just our place. We just rent them. We're just lending them to the Heat. We lend it to the Diamondbacks. We just lend it to them. You know what I mean? So, that's really where we're at. Time to sweep the Jays next. Can't wait. Going to the game on Saturday. Can't wait. Let's go, Christian. Fireside mindset. You know what? Fireside Country. Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride, Fireside Country.
I love that.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride, folks. Let's ride. Let's ride. If you guys are not tapped in with Fireside Yankees, Fireside Giants, all the Empire Sports Media stuff, Fireside Bets, everything we got going on, if you're not following me and Dylan, if you guys think, Ryan does the Yankee articles, that's all I need. No, you need Knicks articles in your life. You didn't know what's going on with the Giants. Like, are they going with a quarterback? What are the prospects are looking at? With the Knicks, they're about to enter the postseason. They're gonna win every game in the playoffs, obviously. If you guys need that content, because you do need that content, not if you need it. You do need it. I'm telling you, I'm your doctor prescribing you that you need Knicks and Giants written content in your life. Dylan's the man. He covers not just the Knicks. He loves the Knicks, but he talks about the Giants as well. He's got some Yankee content in there. So you guys need those three on your feed. And if you go, what about the Rangers?
And of course, I do these live streams with Ryan. So
yeah, and I'm not a Rangers fan. I'm an Islanders fan. But I understand the Rangers are about to make the play are in the playoffs, and the Islanders stink. I understand that. So if you guys want to keep posted on the Rangers postseason, we got Fireside Rangers. So we got everything going for you guys. And you guys got to make sure you're tapped in with that. I'll make a Fireside comic. Allie, a Fireside comic would go crazy. It would go stupid. If I could retweet a post on one account 15 times, I would on that post. Unfortunately, Twitter and Elon Musk has not created that feature. Instead, I have a million bots under my replies saying the same thing. No, I mean, I'm sorry. The replies on Twitter are just useless at this point. You get like, oh, great piece, or oh, that's so cool, or like, oh yeah, I think this player's good, or oh my god, this happened, and then it's nudes in bio, and you're just like,
yeah, it's every single tweet now.
Every single one,
every
man.
Every single tweet.
Every single one. It's crazy. But I want to see Glaber get less leadoff starts versus righties. A Verdugo platoon would be fun. I would like to see them like kind of give Verdugo the starts against righties, but he has to hit a little bit more before I get like really going on the idea that he needs to, hit at the top of the lineup. That's just my mindset.
I agree. I agree.
And yeah, but I do think Verdugo could profile as leadoff hitter. I just want to see it kind of the results.
I think so too, but I'm with you. I want to see him actually kind of show me something a little bit before we jump the gun a little bit and say, all right, let's have him lead off. Like, I get the mindset, though, and I think maybe later in the season, if Verdugo does end up starting to actually hit, hopefully the home run he got today was the start of it, then, yeah, maybe I can entertain that conversation.
100% agree. 100% agree. You could tell Rodon was pitching today like he was finding it, getting closer to overall better form. Yeah, I like that he fights more. Like I feel like it's less like bomb, and more like, all right, you can get through.
Like I mentioned, his outings have been a bit of slogs, but at least he's getting through it in some way. Which,
he's getting out of it.
As a pitcher who's been struggling to find it, that's exactly what you want. It seems like he's been struggling to find it for the past year, and if he can get through these outings, even if they're not in the most conventional ways, but if he can get through them, just keeping the game close or even with a lead or something like that, I'm sure he will take that every single time. And I'm sure that can also help boost his confidence a little bit, that maybe he can find it again and really become the guy that we signed him for. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I agree, man. I think he's looking better and better, and hopefully, that culminates in one of those just big time starts. So, yeah. Mind you, I was hoping for that before the season started. Dude, that's totally fair. I did like the idea of Verdugo and LeMahieu platooning lefty-righty at the leadoff spot. Obviously, LeMahieu's hurt, so, now that Glaber's that kind of like the default leadoff guy, I totally see what you're saying. That's fair. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't hate Soto Judge 1-2 to make sure our best hitters get the most at-bats on the team. I have advocated for Soto to lead off in the New York Yankees, but I understand why they won't do it.
I can live with it, but at the same time, I like him at 2-3 because, in case, the leadoff guy gets on base, now you have more, the guys below to really drive in runs. So.
Yeah. I also think, like the Yankees, not the Yankees, excuse me. Soto, it's comfort, right? Like he talked about not being really comfortable as a two-hitter in San Diego, and he made it comfortable in later on and kind of with the Yankees, and he's comfortable doing that now. I don't think messing with that is really important enough. Like I would like to see it, but I think that they're going to keep him comfortable and all that stuff. They're two types of dogs. Yankees are dogs, Mets are bitches. Look, I'm not going to speak on the New York Mets. I will not speak on a team I don't watch. I will not dog on a team. See what I did there? Dog on a team that is not in the American League. That too, like they're not in the AL. I'm not going to get on their ass. What I will say this: Yankees are dogs. There are dogs in that lineup for the Yankees. And look, hey, you know what? Shamanaya, come be special. I have been a Shamanaya guy for years. Okay.
Yeah, come on. You were mentioning Shamanaya a lot last season, so I know.
Baby, Shamanaya, you cut your hair.
You mentioned Soto a lot last season, and look, he's on the team now, so maybe you'll get your next wish.
Come be special. Just, you know what? The Yankees should just trade for everybody. They should just get everyone that's ever played.
All right, George Steinbrenner.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If Obi has a good series in the Bronx, maybe try him lead off. Yes, I think they will try him lead off. For sure. For sure. Me picking the Mets to make the playoffs, I really didn't think it was a bad take to pick them to make the playoffs. They just, the National League.
I didn't believe in the Mets from the start, personally.
I believed in them, but also like the thing that really killed their playoff chances was
before you go on with this, I do want to say, It's only 7 games. Anything could still happen. But
They only played 4, right?
yeah, they might have even played less because I know they've had a couple postponed. So they might have even played less. But point is, it's only been a week. So, of course, anything could change. And maybe, who knows, maybe the Mets find a way to get in. But me personally, like, if I was picking out my teams before the season began to make the postseason, the Mets would not have been one of them. I'm just being honest. It wouldn't have.
I think the thing that really killed them was just like the Giants and Padres. Like last second, it's Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, Dylan Cease. You're like, oh crap! Well, now they're good. You know what I mean?
And the Mets didn't really get anybody.
Right. It was kind of just like
what was their big acquisition? I know they got Justin Turner, I believe.
Hey, Sean Manaea.
And Sean Manaea. Basically, yeah. That was like
the transition year for them. Like they never like their goal has outwardly never
Think about
been
this for a second. The Mets offseason was so underwhelming. They were talking about next year when they could get Soto before the season even began.
Right. I mean, look, this has been their plan. They weren't planning to win this year. It is what it is for them. But it
is what it is. But
hey, man, as long as they don't end up with Soto, I don't care what they do. They could go get Bregman, steal from the Astros.
They're not going to get Soto.
Yeah, I fully believe Soto's going to remain a Yankee forever. But I will allow the world to recognize it's not a 100% chance. I understand that. He shoved just to audition. He shaved just to audition for the Yankees. Yes, sir. Turns on the Blue Jays, not the Mets. Right. Forgot about that. He did not end up signing with the Mets. He signed with the Blue Jays.
That's right. That's my mistake.
No, you're all good.
Yeah. Look, my memory's foggy sometimes, and I don't have like these transactions in front of me. So
I just personally
good call out though.
Really where my head's at now is just get me Freddie Peralta, get me ready for the I'm dreaming big, but it's okay. Anywho, if there's anything else you want to add on before we dip,
I don't have much other than just, I'm looking forward to the home opener. I'm looking forward for them going back to the Bronx and, seeing the guys play there, seeing what the crowd will be like, first home series this season, and it's against the Blue Jays, so should be exciting. I'm excited to see Stroman pitch. Is he pitching the home opener? I didn't look yet. He is. I'm excited to see that because I know it seems like he really wanted to pitch the home opener. So I'm excited to see what he does, and it's against his former team at that too. So that should even be more exciting. And yeah, I hope they just, take this day off, get back to the Bronx, sit nicely because they're, sitting comfortably right now in first place. Obviously it's 7 games. We're not talking about the division in 7 games, but they're 6-1 in first place at the moment. And hopefully they can just keep this momentum going, heading back home and, getting some more wins against a good Blue Jays team. They're not, obviously I think we're better than the Blue Jays, but Blue Jays aren't a pushover. They still have a tough draw to start the season. So just keep the momentum going. That's the way I see it. And that's what I'm hoping for. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of answer this last question here, what happens with Oswaldo when LeMahieu comes back? That's dependent on his performance, and I think we'll find that out as the weeks come on. So,
depends on Cabrera's performance. Depends on LeMahieu's health. 2 things right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch for. Because LeMahieu is on the contract as well. I think I know we want to, close up this stream pretty soon, but I did want to touch on it. I do think we need to keep an eye on that because LeMahieu is under contract and he's making a fair amount of money. And the past few seasons, he's dealt with injuries and a decline in his production. I'm not sitting here insinuating that, hey, let's trade him or cut him right now. No, not at all. But I do wonder what his future will look like with the team, at least after this season. I do wonder that. I do. I genuinely am curious about that. And, maybe that's obviously a conversation we can fully save for later on and probably into the offseason. But just something to think about at the moment. I'm not saying Oswaldo's going to steal his spot. No, because I don't think Oswaldo's success to start the year is sustainable. I don't. But you never know anymore with this team. So I guess we'll just have to find out the hard way for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find that out the hard way. We will. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Fireside Yankees stream. If you guys enjoyed today's stream, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and check out our other social media platforms for Fireside Giants, Fireside Bets, Empire Sports Media, all of our other sporting affiliates. And, of course, you guys can check out our personal Twitter accounts above our heads. The Yankees are 6-1 at the time of this live stream. Hopefully, they are 7-1 the next time we record or the next time we stream. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.